can you tell that really funny story you were telling me? It's so funny. And he goes, yeah, well, I was driving down the road extra fast, I suppose. And, yeah, I killed 9 hogs. It's just a story about him drunk driving. It
sounds like they were
slaughtering 9 pigs.
Like they were lined up like bowling pins. How do you kill 9 hogs?
I got a full strike.
Yeah.
And the interviewer, like, he's like, well, I mean, I guess it's not that fun, but just a part of the wildness, huh?
Yeah.
No, you can do it again if you want.
Sure. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Overshadowed Podcast, the only, but don't you fucking laugh.
I'm keeping both.
You should do it back to back.
I will.
This is the only podcast that covers spouses and siblings of people who have changed the world. We have a special guest today.
Will Foskey, everybody, are you from Atlanta, Georgia?
The suburbs of Atlanta,
The
Georgia.
suburbs
Ooh,
of
what
Atlanta,
suburb?
Georgia.
Woodstock.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
I lived in
wow.
Decatur for a little bit.
Oh, shit,
Like a
really?
month or two. Yeah.
You ever
like
see
a
Hendrix
summer.
play?
Nah,
Sorry.
man. Not Woodstock 69. No, there's...
Do you ever 69 in the town of Woodstock?
No.
Really? I find that shocking. When did you move away?
Have you both ever 69'd? I've never
Of
done it.
course.
Oh, really? I've
You
never
know
done
what?
it.
Yeah,
Now that you mention it, I probably
Come on.
have.
Yeah, all right.
Thinking
Now
of
that
all
I've
the
had time
countless
to, like,
times I've 69'd.
I just saw that I'm like, we can't start out with you not 69ing
No,
in your life.
Yeah, this is a great first impression I'm making, I
Yeah.
feel like.
Well, thank you for coming down to the studio in Little Haiti. Do you know that's where
course.
we are?
No.
Well,
It is little
3
Haiti.
white guys in a basement. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
It's all right.
We'll be all right.
I patronize the local businesses.
You patronize them?
Yeah, I go, oh, you guys are selling goods?
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Ooh, so cool. Bet you're going to last a real long time here. And then I just go around with petitions to have Sweet Green show up.
Now, I like this
Potbelly.
church, but what if it was a Whole Foods?
Yeah. What if it was a banh mi place? What do we say, fella? Should we get into Billy Carter?
Let's do
Let's
it.
get into Billy Carter. Well, Will, I appreciate you bringing up this this luminary of Southern pride, culture, and alcoholism to us, because this guy is wildly entertaining. How much did you know about Billy Carter before you mentioned his name to me at Flophouse all those months ago?
Not much, other than just he had his own beer and like was kind of a sort of a like celebrity. He was like, this is kind of a weird example, but like, did you watch Viva La Bam growing up?
Yeah.
Don
little.
Vito.
Yeah.
Don Vito.
He is like a Don Vito.
Is that the one that they're always like hurting and annoying?
huge gray hair, very fat? Like,
Yeah, they're tormenting him constantly, right?
well, they're tormenting a lot of people, but
But
I
who's the
think he
one
does.
that gets the most?
I think it is,
That's who
yeah.
you're
Right?
thinking of.
He's
yeah.
like sleeping,
and he
they
lives
go
in like a
and
hut.
But no, but that's true. His house sucked,
Yeah.
and they would always like pull the wall off.
Always destroy his house.
he lives in like a studio.
That was a show where they
No,
actually.
man. Like, so Bam lives in like a castle, and then his parents live in like a pretty nice like 4-bedroom house that he bought them. And then Vito just lives in this like, you know, where it's like it's a trailer technically, but
Yeah.
like it looks like a house. Like that's where
Oh,
he's living.
it's just drywall in the middle of a field.
Yeah, and then they just would put a crane on his windows. And just
Yeah,
pull
rip
his
him out. He'd be asleep. He'd be like, he had like the first like character we would see like slur like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah, and they would spell the subtitles
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
The MTV people. But yeah,
Oh,
they'd be
that's
like,
funny.
dude, we're going to take the wall off his house, dude. But anyway, I say
And
that.
he would like gobble like a chicken. Like,
Yeah.
He would make crazy noises.
and they would like slap.
Yeah. R.I.P. I remember when I found out he died.
I know, dude. But the reason why I say that is because, so apparently Don Vito was, before Jackass, before CKY, whatever, Don Vito was kind of like a famous dude in like
Whoa.
Westchester, just because he'd get all fucked up and be
he
weird.
was the Don of Westchester.
Yeah, yeah. And so just as I came to find out more about Billy Carter, I'm like, this kind of sounds like that. Like he sounds like in the
Yeah.
hometown, he was the dude who knew everybody, be
Yeah.
hanging out and all that stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
He was a good example of like you could just get hammered and kind of be the celebrity.
Yeah. He was a good, like he didn't get so tormented like Don Vito, you know. No
You mean
one's-
like growing up?
Yeah, nobody.
No.
Yeah, no. It
Yeah.
doesn't. It's not like Jimmy Carter was like throwing flour on him to wake him up. But
like throwing piranhas in his bed.
yeah, and so it sounds like he was like a really smart guy, which I didn't know until
I
I'm
would argue
torn.
that he was smart.
I think he's smart. I don't think he's as smart as he tells people he is in the books that he reads.
of course.
He did this interview where he says that he reads what, 6 to 7 books a week?
And he said he read them between 1 and 4 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Blackout.
Yeah.
Probably. I do like to picture an alcoholic trying to better himself, but not quit alcohol.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
maybe if I read.
Yeah, maybe if I read while I'm super drunk, I'll be able to retain the information.
He even said in the interview that we watched where he's like, honestly, I don't know what's on the cover of the books I read. And it's like,
I was always taught to never judge a book by its cover, so I figured why look at it at all.
exactly. Don't judge a book by the cover,
Yeah.
but remember it.
Remember
what
Remember
I didn't
one
read it.
thing from
Yeah.
the book. That's where I wonder if he's, because as when he was a kid, apparently this was crazy to me. Growing up at the dinner table, the family would read books.
Whoa.
Isn't that wildly rude to just be at the dinner table not talking, but instead you're all reading?
And then
I
you
think
have food in
Billy-
front of you? Just to
Right.
like take a little break and
Yeah, it's like you're on your phone.
Yeah.
It's like they're all very disconnected. And apparently that was like a good learned house, very, educating your kids thing to do. Is
Well,
read
it
at the
worked
table.
for Jimmy Carter, I guess. I mean, this guy grew up to be a physicist. It's the one kid that it worked for. Because everybody else was a little...
Everyone else was a little black sheep. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess Jimmy Carter was a black sheep too, technically. But it makes me wonder if Billy was that into reading, because in an interview he says that to the press he would just like tell lies to them all the time.
Objectively, that's a good way to deal with the media.
Yeah,
To
that would
lie.
be...
Yeah.
Imagine being famous. Wouldn't you lie to people shoving like microphones in your face?
Yeah, I wonder if he was just trolling them. He's like, I know you guys like to read books. I read like 7 a week. I can't remember which ones though.
Yeah.
I
I
couldn't
think
tell
he
you
was-
which ones specifically.
I think he was dying. This is what
I think he's trolling them.
This is my theory on
he's,
him
he's
overall.
like white trash Cat Williams.
I think brother becomes president.
Uh-huh.
He gets the fame. He's smart enough to realize he starts charging people to show up as
Right.
a celebrity, and he's also famous for being drunk. And then I think somewhere after that, he gets so blackout that everything's a blur. And
He goes
he's
Dark
lying.
Billy.
Yeah,
He becomes Dark Billy.
and he just becomes the good. Because then he starts in his fame. He starts saying some racist stuff in public.
That's when he switches to liquor.
Yeah.
There's a point in his life where he switches to like whiskey and vodka, and that's when Dark Billy comes out.
That's
yeah.
unfortunate too that he was saying some racist shit, because I feel like
I know. If he
With-
didn't have that, he'd be perfect.
with
Yeah.
that pleasant of like a voice,
Yeah.
you know
Very
what I mean?
pleasant, very
You're
nice.
like, wow, this is I didn't know people still talked like that, and then they'll say something, and you're like,
Oh, that's
it's so
fuck.
funny. Yeah, it's
that's
like, oh,
how
no.
you talk like that. That's
Yeah.
the fuel for your engine.
yeah, I
Do you want to know something actually about this is a kind of a fun fact in general.
Sure.
About the Presidentes. The Carter family has been in North Carolina since the 1780s.
Oh,
wow.
Uh-oh. So you know what that means, folks. Wiley Carter, Billy and Jimmy's great-grandpa, owned about 14 slaves. And then I was like, okay, so let me
It's
look
not
at
100.
It's not 100. Yeah, they weren't super successful, so we can pat them on the back for that, for not trying harder. President Joe Biden and every living former president except Donald Trump are direct descendants of slaveholders. Jimmy Carter, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, and through his white mother's side, Barack Obama.
Wow, they must have tried hard to find that link.
Yeah,
They're like,
maybe.
we gotta nail him.
If I was Barack, I would use that to show that I belonged.
Yeah.
Like, look, guys, our families have all made mistakes here, right? We're all cut from the same cloth. And then Trump's ancestors came to America after slavery was abolished.
Oh wow.
So
The
just missed the boat.
Yeah.
The Drumps. Is that?
wasn't
I
that-
think
I
that's
think that
right.
was his
Actually,
name,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Donald Drumpf.
Man, that sucks.
He would have been nobody.
Yeah, that all the presidents are.
What? That his name was Drumpf, or that
No.
the presidents were slave owners?
Yeah, that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you brought up the Drumpf thing, and then you said that sucks, so I didn't know which one you were talking about.
No, and also it's just kind of funny because I feel like I don't know what Reuters is, but just to be like, and by the way, Donald Trump, he didn't.
Yeah,
he
they
didn't have any of that.
definitely.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. I
that's-
mean, I think it's an interesting fact that the one president whose ancestors didn't own slaves was Donald Trump.
Yeah, but he's
I'm great with black people. They love me.
that's a pretty good Trump actually.
I've been working on it. I ever since I learned that he was the best president that's ever lived, I've been working on my impression.
Well, I think wasn't Billy Boy was asked.
Billy
He said
Carter.
if it wasn't for his brother that was running, he was going to vote for a segregationist.
He did say that. Yeah, George Wallace, I think was like a racist old Democrat,
Yeah.
old Southern Democrat,
Also a black comedian.
also a black
Yeah.
comedian, right?
But yes, George
Same
Wallace.
guy.
Yeah. But we don't need to focus on these slaveholding
Yeah.
presidents. We're talking about America's favorite redneck, who I don't think owned any slaves, Billy Carter.
Yeah,
I don't think he owned
he
one.
owned some stupid stuff though. Gas station. peanut company.
He did buy a gas station. Yeah, what do you want to get into?
Well, I wanted to say the first thing that I really liked that kind of proved that he was smart is when his brother became president, and then he got all the fame for being, now this sort of national good old boy. He started charging $5,000 to appear anywhere. And I don't know the conversion, but he was like, let me capitalize on this. And one of my favorite things is he got paid $5,000 to show up at a belly flop contest.
Yeah.
Which I still wish we had.
Yeah, how do you think you judge a belly flop contest?
However you want.
The sound, I think, it has to be important, of like how much it sounded like it hurt.
Yeah.
The sound, the pinkness of the belly.
pinkness
Yeah,
of the
afterwards.
belly.
Let's see that belly.
Assuming that this is all white people that are doing this, which probably.
You have
Probably.
to. You must
Yeah.
assume that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they have another one down the street in a slightly smaller pool.
I would be afraid. Have you ever tried to belly flop on purpose?
Yeah.
With your friend? I get too afraid.
I did wonder also if they had different tiers, like different heights of step ladders next to the pool.
Oh, which one
he's
you
going
going
for
up?
the big ladder.
Yeah, like the
Let's see.
divers.
Yeah. Probably going to get a pretty red belly out of this one.
You have to be hammered too to do it. Everybody there is just so wasted.
Yeah. Well, it's crazy that Billy was making, by the time Jimmy became president, I think when he got elected president or he was running, Billy got a showbiz manager named Tandy Rice.
Amazing.
From Nashville, and he used to promote like country stars. And Tandy was the one, I think, who started booking him all these appearances.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he would just do like mobile home openings, car dealership,
Mall
cut the
openings, cutting the
Yeah.
ribbons at the mall.
And they just wanted to see him get drunk. People would come up and like give him alcohol.
It's funny that he also maybe had like a pull. He had draw.
Yeah, who is that?
I mean, if Billy's there, way more people are going to go to the mall opening. Probably they want to see Billy.
I mean, that's kind of like Trump. I mean, I know Trump's on a bigger level, but is there anybody right now who's like just a known goof who gets who's going to get wasted? World of Shirts, maybe, but in a totally different way. You guys know World of Shirts on TikTok?
No.
He's like this 20-something-year-old, but he's from my island. I think he's a little something, but he's just absolutely hammered off his ass. And he gives tours around New York where he just like barfs. And he charges you he's like $20 for a tour. And then throughout, people film their experience. They're like, during the tour, he asked for another $20, like many more times. And then he just bought himself drinks and threw up. But people go just to see this guy because it's unbelievable how hammered he gets. And so I think that's the closest thing. But he doesn't seem like a good guy. World of Shirts, so you got to look him up. It's just, he'll probably pass away soon.
All right, so belly flop contest. Yeah, at one point, Billy Carter is making $500,000 a year compared to President Jimmy Carter's like $200,000 a year.
Smart guy.
From judging belly flop contests and Miss Piggy's Pizza Parlor beauty pageants.
Yeah.
Did you see that? He judged a Miss Piggy's Pizza Parlor pageant.
No, I did not. That is a mouthful right
Yeah,
there.
it's a lot, and I think those girls had a mouthful as well before they went on stage.
Yeah,
Probably
they
each,
look great.
hey, honey, you got some pepperoni on you. Let me just get that off. Billy's not gonna like that.
Miss Piggy's what?
Hold on, let me find the actual. Here it is.
Miss Piggy's Pizza Beauty Pageant.
Did I add a word?
No,
I don't think I
so.
did. It just looks shorter now, just seeing it written. Miss Piggy's Pizza Beauty Pageant. And they'd be like, Billy, what are you going to be looking for in these women? He goes, the front and the back.
It's pretty good.
Billy.
That's
a good old boy answer.
Yeah.
Tandy, his agent, was like, I think we all have a little Billy Carter in each of us.
Well,
AKA that dog.
Yeah, that's
we all
what he
have
means.
That dog.
It's like that one. You ever have a friend that like he's the same way in public that he would be like
just
in the
hanging out with the
basement?
dudes.
And
Yeah.
you're just like what?
Yeah. This guy's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's who he is.
Yeah.
I think now the memes are when intrusive thoughts win. You see that?
Yeah,
when people
that's
just
Billy
speak
Carter.
their mind. Yeah,
For sure. He did drop the N-word at I don't even know why he was here. He was at a season ticket party for, who was the baseball team? The Oakland
A's.
Oakland A's. He was at a season ticket holder party for the Oakland A's, and there was this guy who happened to be a local NAACP organizer in the crowd named like Carter, Gilbert Carter something. His first name was Carter.
Yeah.
And Billy was making a joke about how his last name is Carter. And he goes, yeah, we all left an N-word in the woodpile somewhere.
and apparently everybody laughed.
Everyone laughed, and even the guy laughed. Even Carter G laughed because he only heard woodpile. So he didn't hear the N-word somehow? That's the only thing I'm hearing. If somebody says but Billy does mutter and he mumbles. So maybe he mumbled his way through it. And then some.
That's probably how he got away with saying it in public. They're like, "Did you say it?" And he's like,
Yeah,
"What?"
they only caught it. They only realized he said it in the car ride home. They're like,
Yeah.
wait a second. I think he dropped the N-bomb hard R.
He's just smiling.
Yeah.
You got to be pretty slick to let that one fly. And
Oh,
have
Dude,
Yeah,
and then later that
dude.
day, there was a game, and there was a guy, there was some reporters like, so, Billy, I think you said the N-word up there. You want to, you have anything to say about that? Like an apology? And he was like, yeah, I said a slur, and I'm not apologizing. And then he threw the first pitch.
Like I said, South Georgia and North Georgia, very different.
That's some dark Billy behavior, though. That's
Well,
not
I mean,
that's not
yeah.
a good guy.
I think even of the times back then, that just was like normal to say. I don't know. Yeah, in the 70s, are you still?
I don't know. I don't know if you can pull the of the times argument in the 70s.
South Georgia, yeah, that's pretty brutal. Pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's brutal. Yeah, it's like maybe. I mean, this is post LBJ, right? The South is supposed to come back into the fold. The civil rights movement.
But he didn't bring that back into the fold.
No, but at least they've tried. You know, Jimmy also is very pro desegregation. I mean, it's a bad look.
Yeah, but I mean, but the people loved him still. I think he got
Yeah.
away with saying, because also when he got
He was
called.
truly, he was the Morgan Wallen of his time.
Yeah,
really.
dude, Morgan Wallen gets away with everything.
Is he the guy who
It's
threw the chair off of the
Yeah.
balcony? Whatever happened with that? Did he get charged or
I don't.
convicted like our
I haven't heard anything.
great
after.
leader?
Did you see that? The chair wasn't that Morgan Wallen?
Yeah.
Wallen?
Yeah,
No, I
think so.
didn't see it.
He
What
threw
happened?
a chair off a second or third story.
No, dude, I think it was like 8.
Oh, really?
I think it was like at least 6 stories.
Really?
I
A
thought
bar?
so.
A bar being 6 stories?
No, I thought it was his apartment or like a hotel.
I thought it was like a. Anyway, it was like onto a public street.
He threw a chair out of a
yeah.
window at height.
And then I think there's like a video of him like barking like as they're like arresting him, just being like famous guy, just being like, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, going down with
And
the fight.
I think
You're wrong.
Yeah, and I think they could give him 3 years, but what are you gonna do? He's like one of the biggest stars. So I think this guy was kind of that same way, where the people love him.
Yeah, the people do love. I want to talk about the belly flop contest more. Billy participated.
That makes sense. He's got to win something if he can't be
Yeah.
the president.
That's true.
I mean, what a life. He just really squeezed his situation
Yeah.
for what it was worth.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, besides some of those dark values, but a great opportunity, and he took it.
Sure. His own fame, though, became kind of a problem, and his brother's fame, because then Plains, Georgia, started becoming this tourist attraction.
And it's a town of like hundreds of people.
500 to 700
Okay.
Oh,
has
wow.
been what it's wavering around. What is Woodstock? I assume it's bigger than that.
Oh, way
It's
bigger.
northern Georgia.
Yeah, it's like probably
Which I'm learning is way different.
100,000 people.
Yeah, that's a step. Yeah, this place is so the Plains is so small that everything in the town is still centered around Jimmy Carter.
Yeah, the Carters.
Yeah.
Billy ran for mayor the same year that Jimmy got elected president, and there was like buses coming through. I think Billy even went to LBJ's hometown of Stonewall, Texas, to like see how things would be, look into the future a little bit. And he was like, I hate this. It's all commercial. It's dolled up. It looks like a tourist attraction. So Billy ran for mayor on the platform. His motto was no progress. And he lost. Imagine that. He lost by like 50 votes. Which is kind of a big margin in a town of 500 people.
Agreed,
That's like
yeah.
10%.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing.
Yeah.
And to be like famous Billy losing your own election, because a lot of people were happy that tourism was bringing in money to the town.
Oh yeah, because all you got is peanut farms around you.
You got peanut farms and, the remnants of segregation. It's like not a happy vibe.
Yeah. And you have
No progress.
that's
No
a
progress.
wild thing to be like
In the
I
South?
like that. Yeah.
To have a slogan, no progress.
It'll get you a lot of votes, man.
Yeah, apparently not enough.
And in Arizona too.
Not enough.
If people started putting up no progress signs in Georgia,
Dude.
it's over.
I could see
Yeah.
that would be on everybody's bumper sticker in Arizona right now too. The part where my dad lives in like the desert, it's all.
Dude, when I was in Arizona, just
You were in a
sidebar,
wild part of Arizona too.
I was, but dude, there was a Trump store. I was
Yeah.
driving through like the middle of the desert, And then there's like just this store that says Trump on it. And I was like, I got to know.
Yeah.
So I go inside and it's all, like toilet paper with Biden's face on it and shit like that.
Wow, they have to
Classic.
pay extra.
And
I got that at home.
one of them
awesome.
that they had, it was like Legos. It was like a Lego thing, and it's just a little Lego figure of Trump. And then it comes with 50 bricks that you build into a wall.
That's so funny.
And on the box, there's like a little guy with a sombrero, like another Lego guy.
Whoa.
And it said, illegal immigrant not included.
Oh, they wouldn't even manufacture a piece like that.
It was fake Legos, like Mega Blocks or
I was
whatever.
gonna say,
Yeah.
there's no way
But
Lego
on it-
made that.
Well, but on it said MAGA Blocks. And I was just like,
Whoa.
I gotta say, the branding is strong.
The
Yeah.
guy is a great marketing. I mean, whoever's in charge
And
of
he
his marketing.
emboldens entrepreneurs to kind of do his work.
Yes.
Fly, my pretties. Make the MAGA Legos for me.
Exactly.
He's like, I
'cause
can't
I was-
put my name on children's toys, but please, if you have a plastic molding factory, go nuts.
But yeah, dude, that's the thing. Like, I bet he had nothing to do with that.
No.
Someone just,
Not at all.
Someone just fucking loved
Yeah.
Trump
Yeah.
so much.
It's funny though, because when people do something like that and they become successful enough and he gets aware, he wants dividends.
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. He'll sue them until they're nothing.
Yeah. And I'm sure they would willingly give it up. Like,
Oh,
oh,
they
my
love
God,
it.
I would love to place my 20% on the altar. We could talk about Billy's gas station that he bought.
we
do you know
should.
about that? We should.
Let's do it.
That's a good one. Billy, there was an Amco going out of business, I think. It was going out of business, right? And Billy had made some cash from helping his dad manage the peanut farm. Anyway, so Billy buys this Amco just as a spot to hang out with his friends and drink, which, like, he could have bought a bar. I think he just liked hanging out there,
Yeah.
and he's like, hey, no progress. I hang out here. We're not changing it.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink at a gas station until I die. And so he bought this Amco. He put it looked like old bus seats or something out
Yeah.
front, like theater seats, just so people could hang out and hold court. And the press would go to the Amco on like slow news days just to hear what these sons of bitches had to say.
Yeah, and they would just get drunk and say wild shit.
There were some wild names. Bud Duvall, Hogpen Johnson, Randy Coleman, Doug Unger, and my favorite, Chicken Wishard.
That would have Chicken Wishard.
That sounds like a protagonist in like a southern fairy tale.
Yeah.
Old Chicken Wishard, a star fell from the sky and he became a man.
And he sold beer there too. Right?
He did sell
didn't
beer.
Did he turn it into a bar?
Mm-hmm.
Really a roundabout way of buying a bar.
Yeah. The gas station blew up.
Yes.
You know that?
Yeah.
He was playing a softball game with his Redneck Power team, which is also yellow flag. Yellow flag on the field with Redneck Power. That's a little too close.
Yeah.
He was playing softball with his boys, and a spark from one of the drink machines set off an explosion in 1976. It occurred during a softball game between the Secret Service staff sent to protect the Carters and Billy's cronies on the adjacent field. So this is like, what, G-men versus rednecks? I like to
Amazing.
picture them still in their suits with concealed
yeah.
carries. They still have pistols and shit. And yet, like, would they let them win?
And he's what would they
The
let
Secret Service?
My guess is.
My guess is they would go super hard because this is the one time they get to, like, show it to their boss.
Yeah.
And if you also don't go as hard, it's like, well, can you protect me if you don't win this game?
I wouldn't have even thought of that. You're absolutely
Right? If you lack
right.
the agility to beat me in softball, how am I going to assume that you can dive in front of a bullet for me if you can't even slide into home?
Yeah, you just hit a home run and just see an explosion happen.
yeah, they're like, what? Why weren't you there?
It's the only thing I've got, he said.
Billy ran to the station. It's the only thing I've got. Meanwhile, he had a wife and 4
He had
kids.
like 6 kids. Didn't
Yeah,
he?
a lot of kids. Love that gas station.
I wonder if it had all the little racist stickers that sometimes you see. You ever go to a
Like
gas
what?
station in like the South or the Midwest?
I mean,
think-
0% liberal. Yeah, that was in Chugwater.
Yep, you get 0%. One of my favorites was it's a fuel gauge and it's on empty and it says white guilt meter.
Oh,
Oh.
man, that's
They've given all they have.
There was
Can't feel it anymore.
sometimes you'll see it'll be like a gay flag, but it looks like a Confederate flag.
yeah. I love those ones.
And you're just like, what?
what is going
Do the
on?
gays want their own country?
Yeah.
It's crazy, dude. I don't know.
It's about states' rights.
It is. Yeah.
It's not about butt sex. It's about state rights.
I remember during like the height of COVID going into a gas station with my buddy, and he goes, "Dude, look." And it was like they had pride masks, you know? And he's like, well, that's really like inclusive. I was like, I don't think that's what they're going
We're
for.
coughing into them.
Yeah. They're,
pride toilet paper.
They're saying it's gay to care about COVID.
Yeah.
That's what those are here for.
Yeah. It's like if you buy it, you immediately fail the test.
I'm like, listen, no progress. That's what I always say.
I remember one time I went to a gas station in Florida during the pandemic, and it was, I walked in, I was like, hey, I don't have a mask. And she was like, good. You're not a fag. And I was like, alrighty. Well.
She just held up a fist.
Yeah.
Neither do I, brother.
Yeah.
No one's got a mask.
Dude, yeah, I went to
She puts on a gas mask. She's like, I am ready for the end, though.
Yeah.
I was going to a Flyers game like during COVID, and the guy asked, he's like, have you ever had any symptoms of like whatever list? And he just goes, say no.
Wait. What?
The guy like checking you in?
Yeah, there was like security, and they had a dude
I
to
thought
like.
you were sitting outside a gas station.
Oh,
holding court with your buddies.
No. This was going to a Flyers game
Okay.
at Wells Fargo Center.
Oh, and you're getting into the venue.
Yeah,
Okay,
and I just
okay.
love that. He
Yes.
just because my friend kind of didn't know how to answer, and he just goes, say no. It's like
And then he
people-
coughs.
yeah.
Yeah, I've had people do. I'm just so excited. I've had people do that though, where I can't remember when. I was getting checked into something, and a similar thing happened. They're just like, you just wanna.
Yeah.
They're on your team.
Yeah, no
they're,
problem.
they're a double agent.
Yeah.
they're actually an audience member. Is that what they're called? Fan. A
Yeah,
fan.
There you go.
It's
Yeah.
like a fan snuck in, got a job just to
Yeah.
get more fans.
Yeah.
In. We got to pack the stage. Don't leave before the game's over. They hate that. It's
Yeah,
very
dude.
demoralizing.
Fun time. Good time at the Flyers game.
Yeah, what do we got? We got gas station explosion.
We got gas station. We got the town becoming famous. I guess I had this anecdote queued up that I never said. They moved. The Billy Carter's family moved 20 miles outside of Plains because it was getting so hectic and they didn't have any privacy. People are peeking in their windows. They're like, every time a tourist comes, it's like, find Billy.
Right.
Find Sybil.
Yeah, in a town of 500 people.
Right.
So you could do it.
You could do it. Yeah, so they're just on the hunt. And so he ended up moving because it was so just disruptive for his life. I mean, I got to imagine like that's not that bad, but that's got to hurt your drinking acceleration.
Well, for sure. If you have 6 kids and then tourists are coming to town trying to get you wasted to say some wild stuff.
That is true. We could talk about his alcoholism. We haven't really talked about that.
Let's
that
talk
much.
about it.
People would just like from across the street come out of bars and like hand him a 6-pack of PBR.
Yeah.
Like,
And people do that on stage too. You ever do a show and maybe you have a joke about weed or mushrooms or something like that, and then people are like, "Hey," and they'll give you shrooms or weed. So this guy was.
didn't Gabriel Iglesias keep getting cakes? I'm not kidding. That's not a joke.
No, I think it's true. Like
That's
sent to
awesome.
his room.
I think he has
That's
a bit.
so
I think he has a
funny.
bit about people keep giving him cakes.
Stay fat.
Yeah, stay fat.
Stay super fat.
No
please.
progress.
Love the jorts.
Right. Yeah, he had some trouble with booze. He had his own beer for like a
Yes.
year. Oh, he also had this. He was a spokesperson for a peanut liqueur called Peanut Lolita.
Dude, this got to be.
Yeah, I knew about Peanut Lolita.
You did?
you had it?
Have you ever had it?
No, I don't drink, but even if I did, I would not drink that shit.
Yeah. That's like.
It's made from peanuts, which sounds gross, and then also Lolita, which, have you guys read that book or seen the movie? It's about a dude that wants to fuck a 15-year-old.
Yeah, bad thing to name your peanut liqueur after.
I will say,
Like kids love it.
if I may, just real quick, I
may.
watched the Lolita movie. I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, is this supposed to be like jokes?
It's
'Cause there's a scene where the guy takes the girl, the underage girl, and he brings her to a hotel like really far away from town so no one will know. And the hotel is crowded. And the guy's like, "Why? What are all these people here for?" And the guy working there is like, "It's the police convention." And I was like, "All right, that's pretty."
It's
fun,
actually the
yeah.
National Pedophile Task Force.
Yeah. And the guy's like,
Yeah,
I'm just like,
no.
I'm like, dude, this is funny.
Yeah,
That's a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode.
Yeah.
You go abduct a teenager and then you end up next to a cop convention.
What? I know. I was just trying to. Yeah.
No, I'm your English teacher. That's what he was. He was like a
Yep.
French English teacher, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Hebophile.
Yes.
On my way from the beach when I was calling you, I asked Siri, hey, what's Lolita about? And then it the title was Hebophile, and then it described Lolita. The girl in Lolita, the book or the movie, is 12, which seems like pedophile.
Right.
It doesn't seem
Yeah.
like you need a new word
Yeah.
for that. Like 13, okay. Like if they're a teenager, then you could go into the subcategories. But 12 is still very squarely in pedophile range. I don't think you need a whole nother term.
Yeah. Holy hell.
It's like that's a completely different field of study. So Peanut Lolita is the name of a thick whiskey and peanut-based liqueur produced in the 60s and 70s. It was sold as a nutty dessert alcohol. It was sweet and gritty in texture. I think we just got to mix some whiskey and chunky peanut butter
Yeah,
and
it
see
sounds
what
like
it does
you
to
nailed
us.
it. Yeah. They have peanut butter whiskey. I think that's what this has evolved into.
Probably. Yeah, this sounded like peanut butter whiskey with pulp.
Yeah.
With like peanut
Sounds like a
pulp.
whiskey that you got to chew.
Yeah, a spreadable whiskey on your sandwich or something.
It's times like this I wish I did still drink.
Why'd you stop drinking?
Oh,
Everything was going too good?
No, yeah, exactly. Man,
Your
just,
life was just, you were succeeding too fast?
just general depression, and fucking everyone in my family drinks, and I was
Yeah,
like, no,
gotta
I'm
get
not.
out, yeah.
I'm not doing that.
So you
Yeah.
nipped it in the bud.
Yeah.
You never went Dark Billy?
No, well, I had a couple nights where I was kind of a
Willie?
problem. Yeah.
Dark Willy?
Dark Willie. And it was never anything crazy, but just embarrassing ass shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this has to stop.
Driving down the road, killed 9 hogs.
Yeah.
Do you remember that story from the interview?
No.
The interview's like, Billy, can you tell? It's at the very end. He goes, Billy, before I let you go, can I just tell you this? Can you tell that really funny story you were telling me? It's so funny. And he goes, yeah, well, I was driving down the road extra fast, I suppose. And, I killed 9 hogs. It's just a story about him drunk driving. It
sounds like they were
slaughtering 9 pigs.
Like they were lined up like bowling pins. How do you kill 9 hogs?
I got a
So
full
funny.
strike.
That's a really funny mental image.
It's just, and then that's all Billy says. And I'm sure when he first told the story, he had some tags, he had some fun angles.
Yeah.
And the interviewer, like, he's like, well, I mean, I guess it's not that fun, but just a part of the wildness, huh?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you just teed him up to
he did the
vehicular
comedian. He did
slaughter.
the comedian move of being like, well, I guess you didn't like that one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. The interviewer.
yeah.
And his jokes were just Billy. He's like, well, I guess you didn't like that iteration of Billy. You can pee, but I do want to talk more about the hogs when we come back.
We'll be right back after this, folks.
Anyway, we can get. What were we talking about? Hogs.
Oh yeah, he killed
Hog
9
slaughter.
hogs.
I also think it's pretty sweet that we could, choose our path here. I think it's pretty cool to own a gas station just to hang out at.
Absolutely.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
totally, if I made a bunch of money, I'm moving out to like a farm somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm buying a gas station.
And Billy had like a panel show going at the Amco.
What? Like Hollywood Squares?
No. That unofficially. The press would come up to him.
Yeah.
They would all interview him because he's guaranteed ratings.
Yeah.
So they would go up to him. He's holding court in a fucking airline seat that fell out of the sky that he salvaged from a ditch and put in front of the Amco, and would just drink beers, tell lies. They would just go get quotes from him,
Yeah.
which I think must have been nice in the midst of like the U.S. is going through an energy crisis. There's lines at gas stations, and then they're like, well, at least we get to go see Billy as we wait an hour to get gas.
Yeah.
And there was one quote I'm trying to remember. He's like, I got red blood, white socks,
a red
blue
and a
ribbon.
Pabst
Yeah.
Blue Ribbon.
Redneck.
Redneck?
I think it was redneck.
I got a
Yeah,
redneck, white socks,
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Yeah.
and Pabst Blue Ribbon, which, by the way, he much preferred over Billy beer, his own beer.
Yeah, it was his favorite beer. I mean, it's PBR. I think was everything that Billy was.
It is a national recipe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speak on that.
He was a simple, cheap guy who got the job done.
This is an ad for PBR.
He wasn't a strong hit, but if you had enough of him, you get used to it, and you come back to him every time. PBR.
He was consistent.
Yeah.
He was reliable.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could always go to Billy, and he'd probably make you laugh
Yeah.
with something.
He'd do something for you.
That's a lot of pressure, though. You got to be. I mean, he said this in later interviews. He's like, it was a lot of pressure to be on. I felt like I had. He didn't say that, but he didn't say it in those terms.
Right.
But he's like, I felt like I had to play up the redneck thing. That's who I was, and that's what his business became. So you can't be Billy Carter, get booked as Billy Carter, and then show up like, oh, no, I'll just have water.
Yeah.
It's like, you
gotta
need to
go get-
shotgun this right
Yeah.
now and jump into this
Yeah,
pool.
imagine every time you get booked, you had to get blackout.
Right.
You're like, whew.
Yeah. I need you to take the shot, take your shirt off, and belly flop right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like Kreischer is doing everything but
Yes.
blacking out on stage. Like he's
so
blacking-
close to Billy
yeah,
Carter.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't say wild things.
I was involved with the Russian mafia. Yeah.
You know, I went to Libya and they gave me a loan. It's a crazy story.
That is, we need to talk about that.
Billygate.
That's
You wanna
wild.
talk Billygate?
We'll talk Billygate.
Anyone want to go? I feel like I've been talking too much.
Wasn't it that they came to him because he was a celebrity and they tried to get him on their side?
I don't know how Libya got in
I
touch
think-
with Billy Carter.
I
He
think-
did get a lot of fan
I
letters.
think they
so
visited his hometown.
It could have been fan mail.
I think they came to him. I
know
think
what's weird?
representatives came to him.
Really?
Yeah.
They're one of the only other places that doesn't use the metric system.
Libya?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Probably because of Billy Carter.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe he got
so.
them
He
on
said,
it.
look, I'll come to Libya, but
You gotta
y'all
live-
got to change to feet and inches.
You gotta- yeah. They're all drinking PBR if you visit today.
Yeah. Also, I like imagining the like an open air bus arriving with tourists, and you just see a bunch of guys in like Middle Eastern garb. He's like, oh, "Who are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy, hello,
Big fan.
big fan over here."
Yeah, so I think there was bad relations, obviously, between the U.S. and Libya, and I think they sent representatives to Billy to try to win him over, and they did win him over with just cash. Mm-hmm. And the U.S.
A no strings attached, $220,000
Yeah.
loan.
But there's also speculation that they gave him $2 million, which I
Ooh.
don't know is true because he later got into the IRS came for
He testified before a Senate subcommittee
that he wasn't doing anything weird.
that Billy, dude, the quote's so funny. He's like, "You may, I stand before you not as a wacko, a boob, or a buffoon,
Yeah.
as some of you have called me." Like, but it's so funny that he starts out with all the names people have called him.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, nobody was thinking you were a boob until you said boob
Yeah.
before a subcommittee, right?
That's so funny.
That's not the way to get to seem like not a boob.
But yeah.
Anyway, go ahead with Libya.
Well, I think what Libya wanted, and I think they wanted to probably get connected to Jimmy.
some soft influence,
Something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I think Billy Carter did something great, which was when the FBI launched a formal investigation into like, what's this fucking guy doing? They found nothing wrong. So I think he foiled Libya's plans by just getting the money and doing nothing for them.
and not following.
Probably
up.
giving some beer away.
He's like, yeah, I'll talk to him.
Yeah, I'll get to you later.
I'll
Call
talk,
me.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell him to turn give you guys weapons. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then he forgot.
Yeah.
He drank so much. I also like thinking that, like, what if Libya thought he was like co-presidents? Well, they are
Yeah.
brothers, so they must
Yeah,
have
good.
equal shares of leadership. And they learn that he's not the president at all.
He just keeps showing up and getting hammered.
Yeah, they're like, wow, their leaders really get after it.
Yeah. Billy's
Work
in
hard,
Libya
play hard, I guess.
with his shirt off.
I was thinking about this because I'm trying to put myself in the headspace of Billy Carter.
of a Libyan ambassador. Oh, and
Yeah,
Billy
yeah.
Carter. Okay.
But like, I'm an only child. I don't have any brothers or sisters,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know that feeling. But like, if my cousin became president or something, oh my god,
You've taken a few meetings.
yeah, I would be
Oh,
hogging.
yeah.
I would
Take a
be
few
hogging the
meetings.
shit out
Give
of
me
his
the
spotlight.
gifts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
What
would
do
go
you got to
on-
say, Rock?
Yeah, he just delivers the State of the Union address, and I'm like, I'll be at Zany's Chicago.
You grab the mic as everybody else is leaving.
If anybody wants to show up.
That'd be cool, I guess.
Well, also Jimmy Carter didn't cut ties with Billy at this point.
No,
which
but he
I
was
think
frustrated.
he was frustrated, but he didn't.
He was pissed.
Yeah.
I think even for as nice as he was, I think that's probably his more angry moments in life. Because he's like, I have to waste time not talking about policy, but talking about Billy. Mm-hmm. He took an hour out of like primetime TV to address the Libya thing. And granted, this was when there was like 11 channels,
Right.
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, he took up like an hour of the airwaves.
But then he takes the Libya money, never pays taxes on it because it was a donation, and that's where he gets, because the IRS comes for those taxes, and then he gets fucked. So eventually he ends up like a mobile home salesman.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he goes
Just like Vito.
That's right.
He's just living in this product,
because I think Carter
waiting for Jimmy to come in and pour bees
Yeah.
on him. We got him! That's for Libya, you idiot.
Dude, yeah, he said it was a donation, but
Yeah.
he just didn't want to pay the tax.
You fucking got him, dude.
Also sucks that Bam is still going through it.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
know.
I feel about Bam the way that like girls and gay guys feel about Britney Spears.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, you don't understand. He's gonna get better. Free Bam.
you're rooting for.
He's in bad shape, dude.
Let me give you some drinks by the numbers here. He used to drink, at his worst, he drank a half a gallon of vodka a day.
Jesus.
He went through 5 to 7 packs of cigarettes, and he would get through about 3 to 4 books per day. That was at his,
One
at his
of these
worst.
is not like the
that
other.
was at his that was at his absolute worst. It's so funny to picture him like cracking open a book. It does like in the middle of a book. He's like, "Yeah, I'm reading something about killer clowns in Maine, I think. You know, some racism book about purple color purple. I don't know." His mom also, his mom's doctor prescribed her 3 beers a day when she was pregnant with Billy Carter to enrich her milk and increase her strength.
So you're drinking.
So
while
yeah, he's
pregnant.
drinking from the tap from the
Yeah,
very
he was
beginning.
getting those suds straight to the neck.
Yeah, from negative 6 months old.
Oh boy.
He's just lying across the bar, guzzling from the tap. So you got sober, Will,
Yes,
from
I
beer.
did. Yeah.
Billy
And
tried to get sober.
Billy should have quit a little earlier. He did get sober for like 3 years.
Okay.
And a lot of people in AA like reference him. They're like, if Billy Carter could do it, I could do it. So he is still alive and well in like the sobriety community, which I
Wow.
thought was nice.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
that is
nice.
cool.
Yeah, he said that even later in life, he's like, when asked about his biggest contribution to society, he said like sobriety and his work fighting against alcoholism.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for him.
That's cool.
Really turned to leaf.
So he's a good guy under all the
Turned to leaf
booze.
Garrett. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we also don't know how drunk he was when he was saying all this slur stuff.
Yeah.
It could
I mean,
also be like, look, I got a grenade in my pocket and I kind of just want to throw it.
You think he liked you
Right?
saying
Yeah,
what? Yeah.
totally. He that's
'Cause
who he
it
was.
didn't- Yeah, it doesn't seem like there were many consequences for any of these things.
Yes.
because
you're
that's
right.
his guy. That's his character. He's a let's see what he says next guy.
Until Libya.
Until
Libya was the one thing where, because that was when like, hey, you're supposed to be a good old boy, and now
yeah.
you're
Well,
talking.
They started the meeting as a good old boy. You remember on the tarmac?
Oh, he peed.
He peed. They like showed up, and I guess he was waiting for them at the airport. And he's like, "Oh, I got a few minutes before they deplane," and he just started pissing outside as they're deplaning.
Pretty funny.
And
They're getting
like,
off the plane like, is this the
and
right
they're like,
guy?
"This is co-presidents." I don't know how to do a Libyan accent. I'm
is that-
still figuring it out.
Yeah, and like I could see like the other people like who showed up and saw him think that it was some like calculated
Yeah.
Power move,
Yeah.
right? A
but he
Putin.
probably just had to pee.
Yeah.
Totally.
But they were like, "Oh, this guy doesn't give a fuck."
What does the piss
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Intimidation.
Are we
factor.
unwelcome?
Yeah. Do we pee too? One
Should
guy
we
starts
pee?
peeing. Wait.
I think I could still come out on top
I didn't
in
read
that
about this in-
negotiation if I walked up and somebody was peeing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just be like, "You got a small dick, bitch,"
Yeah.
and then they'll be self-conscious.
Yeah. The whole time during the negotiation, did you mean what you said, or
That's what Billy would have said if he saw a Libyan peeing.
that's
You
a pretty
got
small
a
picker.
small
you
dick,
call that
bitch.
a pecker?
Call that a pretty small picker right there.
Yeah. That's funny. They think they should pee.
Yeah.
I did not read about this in the America Fedor's book.
Do we shit? Do we one up?
Should we shit? Sign of power? Sign of strength? I also like that he got a $220,000 loan. Maybe they offered him 200 and he's like, you know what? Let's throw another 20 on there.
It's a weird number.
It's a
Yeah.
strange number. It's unfortunate. Like, why did he even need the loan? It was to get back on his feet, but that means that he's somehow mismanaged this fortune he was making.
I didn't know if it was. He said it was a loan, but I think it was a gift.
Loan, gift, the motivation is that he needed the money. But
Okay.
he's making $500,000 a year. Why does he need this money? He's partnering with Billy. You know what I mean? He's
Yeah,
raking it in.
is
So where did it
strange.
go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are giving him stuff all the time. He doesn't really need to buy beer.
Well, one guy he called. One time he called.
I want to know the
somebody-
shit he bought.
He called one guy in government like the dumbest bastard I've ever met, and that guy came on to the microphone and was like, "This guy has a spending problem and a drinking problem."
Oh.
So, but we just don't know what he spent it
What
on.
did he buy?
Yeah. Maybe a lot of knickknacks.
Maybe he was a gambling addict. Because you got to where does your money go if you have nothing to show for it? He didn't live in a mansion.
You're right.
Never sleep in Lincoln's bed.
He did have 6 kids.
That's a good point. You got to raise kids. He had a kid problem.
Yeah, he did have a
He
kid.
had a
yeah.
having kid problem. He was addicted.
You think he was a cheater? You're that famous? You're drunk? But he was a good old boy.
Maybe in the way that LBJ was, and that he like didn't think it was morally wrong.
Yeah.
Like it didn't even cross his conscience. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, I got sucked off. I hardly remember it, babe. It's not cheating if I hardly remember it. I did read those books though.
I read that in a book.
Yeah.
It doesn't count.
Can't remember which one. I think it was
Cheater's
a good,
Guide to Not Cheating.
It was a good one though. That's the one title I remember.
Yeah.
Fuck, what were we saying right before that?
He was broke.
He's
What's he
broke.
spending money on?
What is he? Oh, the kid problem. Yeah, he just had, I think, a pretty modest home. He raised children. He became a mobile home salesman. So I feel like if you make a ton of money and then you have nothing to show for it, it could be gambling.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
It just fits the personality too well.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah, he's sneaking off to go to
And
the ponies.
it was probably like at like poker games and shit with his
Totally
buddies.
at the gas
betting
station,
Big.
Yeah.
His other friends are getting rich just randomly. Like,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. His other friends start buying nice shit.
Yeah. Oh, you won, huh?
I was like, I didn't know you had a phone call with Libya too.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a fucking chicken wishard pulled up in a Cadillac.
Yeah.
Well, we always ask this question at the end, Will. Who would you rather be? Jimmy Carter, still alive Jimmy Carter, or died a long time ago of pancreatic cancer after a battle with alcoholism, Billy Carter?
Tough one.
I said that like I was dying of alcoholism.
Yeah. That's a tough one because
Billy was hard and fast.
do you want to be president or do you want to have fun?
Yeah, it's true.
Is basically that question.
I don't want to die at 51, though.
Don't think about the death.
I would be Billy Carter.
Me too.
Yeah, I think I have to be Billy.
We all got an N-word in the woodpile somewhere.
He said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just quoting Billy.
Yeah, Billy, I mean, obviously got to do whatever he wanted. In a time where you weren't punished for it.
Cancel culture. We ain't heard of that in Plains, Georgia.
He had some bad views, but
he needed glasses.
He got paid $5,000 to judge a belly flop contest. That was kind of
the
his
Miss
life for a
Piggy's
long
Pizza
time.
pageant.
Yeah, so he was having a good time, and he got to be on Hee Haw, like the biggest show.
What was Hee Haw?
I just know it was
It's like Saturday Night Live for rednecks.
Uh-huh.
Like, thank God I didn't really.
Where was it filmed?
I think Nashville.
That would make sense.
But
Probably where he met Tandy, whatever the fuck his last name is. Probably where he met Tandy.
dude, yeah. My parents are both from the north, so like they hated Hee Haw. They thought it was beneath them, I guess.
like a misrepresentation kind of thing, or just like a stupid show.
They're just like, this show's dumb. Don't watch this shit. I remember my parents taking like an active effort to make sure I didn't turn out to be like a redneck.
Yeah.
South, yeah.
Yeah, and it just was kind of fun.
They would have hated Billy. They would have thought he stunk. He was stupid.
Yeah, and like
Bad influence.
yeah, I just remember moving when my dad got promoted. We moved to this like subdivision, and like I remember my dad being like, "You can hang out with these kids, but understand what a lot of them are doing is not normal."
Nice.
Like he just
That's
meant
good.
about like their parents and
Yeah,
shit.
that's-
and sure enough, like one of my friend's dads like called our friend the N-word. Like
Ah,
yeah,
Black friend? All right.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It
Yeah.
was bad.
Wouldn't have been good if he was white.
And just in
Would
the
have
back
been
of
a
my
little
head,
funny, though.
yeah, in the back of my head, I just heard not normal.
yeah.
But yeah,
In what context? Not that
being
matters.
being
but
like, well, there's two kinds of black people.
really? He's quoting Chris Rock?
No, he.
Oh,
That was
okay.
just his thought.
That was
he
his
had
own
on his
theory.
Yeah.
own.
That's so funny, dude.
I have people in my family who have said that, and I'm like, woo.
You know, he might have said that pre-Chris Rock, that Chris Rock bit, if you had to think about the year.
No, because that bit, I think that was from his '96 special. Meanwhile, I'm like,
Oh, yeah, you're
I don't know that
29,
much
yeah.
about like history, but I'm like,
Yeah.
Bring the Pain came out in 1996. But yeah, crazy. And I just remembered seeing that shit and being like, whoa,
Yeah.
dude. Like, you ever see something happen, you're like, how did you not just combust into
Yeah.
flames after you just did that?
Yeah. They think it's cool. They're like, no, my dad will speak Spanish to every Mexican person he sees. And I'm like, Dad.
At least
You think he
that's
said the
more-
N-word trying to be part of his culture?
I think they're trying to be like, not part of the culture.
no, you
but-
say that. That's
Yeah.
how you say it.
I think there is like a thing like, no, this is what I'm saying is I don't like those ones. And you're like, whoa.
But yeah, it's like, just your middle class suburb, but there was like a splash of country. Mm-hmm. Like you go 2 exits up, and now you're in like Squidbilly territory.
Squidbilly. Great show.
That's based in Georgia.
Wow.
It was nothing. Growing up was not like Squidbilly. So
What
I
is
need
it?
to.
Adult Swim TV show.
Oh, okay.
Cartoon. Very
Okay.
fun.
Oh, it's great. You
Okay.
got to watch that, dude. It's so fucking funny.
Nice.
I love Squidbilly.
I haven't thought
so
about
much.
Squidbillies in forever.
Is there a guy
Squidbilly
in there?
Carter.
Yeah, like
You gotta watch it.
It's
Did we
very-
say that the Libya thing was called Billygate?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure we had that in there. Also, it was kind of like a Catholic. We did the Wright brothers' sister, and she was she stayed home, woman to the bike shop while they were out, in the dunes, trying to fly.
Yeah,
and that's what Jimmy. I mean, he's probably just being nice, but he's like, I couldn't have been president if Billy didn't stay back and watch the Peanuts.
Yeah.
He didn't take care of them nuts.
I'm sure that's
like he
what
wouldn't have hired some guy
that was a key success
to take care of the Peanuts. But
that's a good brother move to say that.
Yeah.
Classy.
he never renounced him. So good on you, Jimmy.
Absolutely.
I know you have a Nobel Peace Prize and other stuff, but that's truly something special.
Blood is thicker than Billy beer.
I wish we could get our hands on it. It was like the worst
I sent
beer.
you guys a link. You can still buy it.
I don't want to buy it for
You just said
$50.
you
I
said
know.
you could
I
wish
want
to get your
someone to
hands
give
on
it to
It
me.
was like $20.
I wish someone would send it to us.
You heard it here, folks.
I wish
Send
someone
out
would
the
come
Billy
to comedy
beer.
shows and bring cases of Billy beer. All right, so we'd all rather be Billy Carter.
For sure.
Die of pancreatic
Absolutely.
cancer.
Absolutely.
You got to think about the life lived, not the death.
That's true.
Everybody's going to die of cancer.
Oh, nice.
What's the most country thing you ever done? We'll close it out on that. The most Georgia thing you've ever done in your childhood that you can recall.
In my childhood?
Yeah. Unless you've done something crazier in your 20s.
No.
That's reeks of Georgia.
Well, when I was 5 and 6 for the summers, my mom was writing a book about this island off the coast of Savannah, Georgia.
Whoa.
She's an author?
Yeah.
Cool.
Basically, so the only residence on this whole island was this huge-ass mansion where this really old lady lived. She was in her mid-90s when I was 5 or 6. I went to her 100th birthday party.
Whoa.
But anyway, she knew Jimmy Carter. They were friends. Mrs. West was her name. And that island, it was just completely deserted. So I would just go out and catch snakes or do
Wow.
because there was no internet. They didn't have cable, or they didn't even have a rabbit ear TV. They just had a TV that had a
Wow.
VHS thing in it. So I just watched The Phantom Menace 1,000 times. But
They had an island to explore.
yeah, when I wasn't doing that, I would literally just go out and explore unsupervised.
Wow.
And,
That's great.
That's awesome.
there was one time where there was a pond, and I'm looking at the pond, and there's a log, but the log blinked. So I'm like, oh shit. And I get closer to look, and it's an alligator.
Oh, my God.
And it starts to come out of the
Wow.
thing, and I just booked it.
Where
So,
was this?
Ossabaw Island, Georgia.
Georgia alligator. I guess
Yeah.
there's bayou, swamp,
This again, South Georgia.
South Georgia.
So off the coast of Savannah is the island.
Isn't
but-
the next thing after Georgia, Florida?
yeah,
Florida
If you're
Georgia
going-
line.
if you're going
Yeah, it's
south.
really south. I just kind of realized.
Mhm.
It's probably the most south because Florida's not even really considered that southern. I mean, it is.
People don't
obviously.
lump Florida in with
Yeah.
No.
what people consider to be
South.
the South. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then other places get added to it. I feel like Oklahoma, Arkansas.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're right.
That kind of
And
counts.
Oklahoma's up there a little bit,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it feels.
Yeah.
It's like that David Cross joke. There's rednecks in the South everywhere.
Yes.
Every state has the South in it.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
He grew up one suburb over from where I grew up.
Oh, wow.
He's from Roswell, Georgia.
David Cross?
Mhm.
Oh, cool.
If I ever meet him, that's what I'm going to talk to him
George is
about.
popping.
And be like, dude, did you ever
Got Billy
smoke weed
Carter.
at the
Yeah.
Roswell Mill by the
Nice.
waterfall?
Yeah.
Yeah, Billy Carter, Will Foskey, David Cross.
Yeah.
Holy Trinity. Well, Will, thank you so much for doing the pod. I'm glad we made it happen.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you for
too.
Coming down to the studio.
Of course. I had a
This
great
was
time.
very fun. Do you have anything you would like to plug? Social media, shows?
I have a special out called All Things Sacred for free on YouTube. So check that out if you want to support me.
Check
Oh,
it
yeah.
out. Maybe I can even put that in the front of the app.
Just follow me on Charles_Ingle everywhere. And I think that's it.
At Zach Russell Comedy. Check out the Patreon. I just put up a bonus vlog thing from our Florida trip where I meet a guy who looks like Larry David, and we're both bombing, and a car falls off as Charles is doing stand-up. Car fell off a tow truck
Oh, shit.
during an
Really
outdoor show.
Derailed
and,
my set.
and the tire went and half the crowd stood up and turned
Yeah.
around. So that's all on Patreon. Patreon.com Overshadowed Podcast. Just Google Patreon Overshadowed Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Please leave a review on iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.